Some obstacles that can affect a sale. Hello, everybody. My name is Roxanne Govari with Pemberley Realty here in San Diego, California, along with my partner, Santiago Guerin.
Hello, everyone. We got a great speaker today. Great title up here, and yeah, you want to go ahead
That's
and
right.
first? Yeah.
If you have any title issues, you just have to reach out to Tom. And Tom is with Fidelity National Title, and he is a champion of everything title. If you have any issues, you just have to pick up the phone, call Tom, and Tom makes all the issues go away. So, welcome, Tom. Nice to have you.
Oh, thank you very much. That was a great introduction. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to talk about the enigma of a real estate transaction. People want to know, why do they have title insurance? Well, basically, we're going to research any property to see who has vested interests. And that could be anybody that has an easement over your property to access theirs. Utility easements. Let's say you're in a common area, there's an HOA. Part of that is going to be affected on who has rights. Anybody with a loan, a lien, they have rights to your property. So what happens when Roxanne lists your property and gets ready to sell, you're going to tell her everything you know. But then we're going to research on the back end of it to make sure things that you probably didn't realize had affected your property. And that's certain easements and liens. And we're going to disclose that. Why you need title insurance is there are fraudsters out there who are pretending to own a property. We're going to investigate that to make sure they are the rightful owner of the property. And with not going too deep into the different processes, when we do a search on a property, we tell them everything. And if it does not line up, we're going to have a conversation. And coming up, we're doing steps, and I'll explain more of that later, about making sure we don't have fraud. The reason you need title insurance is you don't want to buy a home without it, because then you don't know who all had vested interests. Think back to the old movies with the person on the train track and the dastardly guy going, sign the deed. I'm not going to sign the deed. Those deeds were never insured back then. Our industry started to say, no, we're going to keep logbooks. We're going to keep records. We're going to make sure we can do what is called a chain of title. And in San Diego County, it goes all the way back to the Spanish land grabs, where we could go back that far to see who were the rightful owners. So think of Horton's Addition. It's a big section of the middle of San Diego Metro. Horton bought all this property and slowly sold it off to developers to build homes. And part of it went to the city. They built the streets and those type of things. So we have that kind of records. Fast forward, yeah, it's condensed. We're only going to look back to the last time there was a bona fide search done. And then we're going to update it. So common obstacles, the property's in a trust. We need to know who all the members of the trust are. It's in an LLC. Same thing. We need to know who the members are. Unfortunately, a lot lately, we do have a demographic passing away. They were smart enough to put their properties in trust, but the children, grandchildren don't have a copy of the trust. Please make sure you get copies of the trust and you share it with the family members who are going to be the executors, the successor trustees, the beneficiaries, because this has become a big obstacle. Just this week, we were lucky that a grandchild was able to find in the mother's records their grandparents' trust, because the way they, in the last 60 years, transferred the property, we needed to make sure the original trust allowed for her mother to then move along. So that's a common obstacle that we're dealing with right now. One of the others is solar. There was a big boom of people putting solar on their properties, and it was not really in the best regulated system, and people were just throwing it on. A lot of these companies went out of business.
Yeah.
So if you're on a lease or a power buyback, make sure you have your contract. And then that way we can kind of find out who now is handling any transfers if it's not an owned system. And when you lose some of these companies, they get housed into a general group that tries to help navigate getting the leases transferred or the power buyback transferred, or get a payoff for it. And that takes time. So early on, if you are listing a property with solar, determine if it's owned, if it's leased, or on another contract. Let's get that paperwork moving early. One of the new ways of having solar paid for is through now a Mello-Roos. There's a bond out there that certain companies have been using to go to a homeowner and say, well, it's a 20-year bond. They will pay for your solar right now. You pay them over the 20 years like a typical Mello-Roos. That's a new one, because sometimes getting to the managers on that to find out what the payoffs or the transfer requirement is difficult. And that has to be paid off for the most part. Just like the PACE and HERO program, it's a government-backed program for...
I hated those PACE programs.
Yeah, it was a great idea. It was implemented very poorly.
Yes.
The reason is it went into your property taxes, but that's a voluntary loan added to your property taxes. A lender does not want to be in second position to that. So it has to be paid off. And this has caused some issues with families who are selling the property not knowing that they still owe $40,000 in these loans that are tied to their taxes, and they were expecting that money to go on to buy their next house.
Yeah.
So those are 100% have to be paid off.
Yeah. Not to mention a lot of those so-called upgrades were upgrades that were either not necessary or again done poorly. So they didn't really add value to the home, and therefore that there was no justification for that extra $40,000 that needed to be made on the house. So yeah, PACE programs were not the greatest program out there.
And the interest rate was astronomical.
Horrendous.
It was like a high interest credit card. That's the percentage of
exactly
interest.
Yeah.
So we are actually looking for those type of items recorded on a property. And if you are a homeowner with solar, review your contract if you're getting ready to go to sale, because we need to get ahead of that like day one. Don't want to delay. We've had deals delayed because they went into a central hub that's trying to administer a transfer or a payoff. And that's, versus a 100-person administration group for a large solar company, we can get that information fast. But one that had been taken over, closed, merged, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Any questions? Because I got some other stuff we can kind of talk about.
Well, it's interesting because you hit a memory that was fascinating for me. We went last September. We went and visited Boston and Salem, and we went and visited the House of Seven Gables. And the whole story is based on this missing deed that everybody's looking for, and everybody's deceiving everybody else just to get access to this missing deed. And to your point about the importance of title insurance, and you guys actually recording these deeds so that people don't go killing each other looking for a deed to a property.
And that's one of the things that in a process, we'll see a deed that is what we call uninsured. It's between family members, some totally legitimate. Maybe there was a divorce between family members and the one spouse signs off to the other, but they just do it on their own. The attorney didn't do it, and they record it. Well, now when that spouse that has the property, say 5 years later, goes to sell it, we're like, well, this was never insured. Was it under duress? Was there something else going on? Is this a forgery? So what we will do is we'll ask for what's called an uninsured deed affidavit. We're going to ask that individual that signed it to go to another notary, prove that's them, and sign saying, yes, they did this without coercion. If it is a divorce or a settlement, a lawsuit, we just need a copy of that. We don't have to contact that person. Presently, we're doing that right now for a couple. They almost 10 years ago divorced, did this. They should have gone through their attorney. Don't know why, but they have the documentation, so they don't have to contact the ex-spouse. We can also contact the attorneys. We've had attorneys who've said, oh, I had drawn this document. I had my notary do it. This person wasn't under duress, and they can attest to that, and we can move on.
Yeah. Uh, Go ahead if you want to talk about different scenarios, because I've got a lot of scenarios, including the one that we are investigating right now. I was actually having this conversation with my family last night, saying that, if I didn't know to contact you, and if you weren't in the know about this issue that we were talking about, this scammer that had reached out to me would have probably been able to get me to pay.
Yeah, they get enough information to make you, I'm going to say, concerned, because now you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? This property has been in this trust entity. Why are they telling me it's not? And there's another loan out there, and they just build up this kind of emotional story that then you're like, okay, what do we need to do to correct this? Because we're taking care of the beneficiary of this trust. Well, looking at it, it's like, no, nothing's really changed. They just are trying to scam you and have you send them money.
And I tell you, as a professional, over 20 years in the business, I lost sleep for about a week over this whole thing, thinking what happened. Reached out to the attorney, started like ordering deeds, trying to figure out, what happened here. Where did we go wrong? Because I got this call. I got this call from a very angry person saying that there are tax liens on that are filed against the property. Their credit card bills that were not paid, that they're going to go ahead and put a lien against the property. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't think that you can, because this property is not even under this person's name. So you cannot put a lien against the property. No. This property belongs to so and so. So we are within our right to do so. And I'm thinking, if I was just a regular person, I would probably panic, which I did panic. But then after panicking, then the next thing that I do is, okay, let's go research it. But the common person may not actually have that reaction. Their reaction may be, okay, what do I need to pay? What do I need to do to make this go away?
Yeah, unfortunately, because I don't want to blame it on AI, but just the ability to get additional information free on properties, if they're pretty savvy and they can figure out a way to emotionally pull you in, they're doing that. It's the same thing when, they go to someone who's a retired individual at home and call them and tell them that there's something wrong with their computer. They need to be able to access in, because I'm with Microsoft or I'm with McAfee, Norton Security, and like they know enough information that the person has those programs, who might then go, well, then let me let you in so you can fix it. Okay. That's never going to happen. So if you watch this and you get a call about your computer having issues, that is never going to happen from any of those companies. And they actually try to tell you that in their proper channels of communicating with you. So it's unfortunate. People want to try to steal, and they're going to do what they can to get it. And just to follow up, we have stopped 2 fraud transactions this year. We did enough investigation to figure out the agent was getting scammed, thinking that was the owner. And we found out the owner's family was like, no, we are not selling that property.
Wow.
So it's happening. We have so many defenses up now. And that's why I say we're the enigma of a real estate transaction. People, why do you keep asking for this? We need to know. We're implementing the CLEAR program starting next week. So through the CLEAR program, we're going to verify who individuals are, if they're the proper owner or representative of a trust, an LLC, a corporation, those type of things. When we close a transaction, we automatically, across the whole United States, put a property monitoring into our system. We have a huge database of the properties. We can monitor properties daily to see if there's a deed recorded. If there is, we notify the individual and they'll say, well, oh yeah, after we close this, we transferred the property to our trust. Yes, we know that happened. That's just a nice benefit. It's just the city or the county of San Diego has that available, and they've had it for a couple of years. You as a homeowner can go to the county website, sign up for owner alert, and put in up to 5 parcel numbers, 5 properties to an email, and it will tell you when a deed records. I've done this on my properties, and back when I did a refi a few years ago, it popped up. I'm like, good, it knew it. So there are layers of security. You don't need to hire a company that will monitor for you, especially in San Diego County, even Orange County, LA, Ventura, Inland Empire, which is Temecula, Riverside, and San Bernardino. They have different versions of it. So if you already own a home, you can sign up for these, because as soon as that happens, you can call your title company and say, what's going on? Because it's something I didn't agree to. That's just things that we're glad that municipalities, companies like us, are going and putting additional lines of defense to protect homeowners.
Right.
And the property monitoring companies monitor. That's it. So they'll tell you, by the way, there's a deed recorded. What do I do? They're like, call your title company, call an attorney. So you don't have to pay those fees. There are free versions of it.
I have some other stories. I mean, I'm sure realtors in the business for a long time, they have a lot of stories, as you have a lot of stories. I've had clients that wanted to sell a property, and I listed the property. I signed the contract, and then at the very last minute, title was questioning, and we found out that the trust actually had the spouse's previous children named as co-owners, 50% owners, and this husband was trying to basically sell the property and not pay off the children. I had one incident where the owner was a paralegal. They hadn't paid their mortgage. The bank had foreclosed on them. And since she knew the legal ins and outs, she had then gone around and then recorded the title back to her name and posing as the owner after the foreclosure, and then trying to sell the property as now the new owner. And of course, and they were insisting that I actually go ahead and sell the property. And I was like, okay, well, I'm happy to sell it. If you can find a title company that would insure that deed, I'm happy to sell it. But without a title company that's going to insure the deed that you're telling me you have, I'm sorry, I'm out.
That's the right way. I like to get ahead of this, and that's why we try to get copies of the trust, any amendments to the trust, and start there. Let's figure out who the right parties are.
Right.
We're not as concerned about the will and distribution, because that's taken care of basically as the property closes. We're making sure they had the legal right to transfer the property on behalf of the trust, LLC, corporation, because we also have to think of those. We always say trust because we mostly deal in trust, but there are big corporations and LLCs that if I'm in a partnership with 2 other families and we're buying and fixing up a property to resell it, well, one of my partners isn't authorized to sign on his own. All 3 of us are.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to provide that to the company so they know, okay, 3 signatures. That way nobody gets left out of the loop.
Yeah.
Which I had a big corporation where one of the partners did put a big loan on this property without the authorization of the other partner.
Oh, see that when something like that happens, first thing that comes to my mind is how did that lender actually lend without making sure?
Let's just say
Yeah.
the title company that insured it is holding a hot potato right now as we're
Yeah.
trying to settle this. And it's being settled. Just good news is at least
Yeah.
they communicate. But that company did not do their due diligence and are holding a hot potato.
Yeah.
Because that lender could come back to them and say, that $40 million we gave for construction, we want you to pay us back right now.
Ooh.
But it's being worked. The partners are talking, the attorneys are talking, it's being settled. But I got called in from the partner saying, look at this. I'm like, how in the hell did they get that loan through? There's no way the title company reviewed the operating agreement.
Yeah.
So bigger brands have more experience, people inside with experience, and that helps.
Well, I challenge that. Because we're a boutique brand.
I'm talking title insurance companies. I am not talking real estate companies because, once again, the amount of care on a smaller company for real estate is, in some cases, a lot higher than the bigger ones.
So you're talking about insurance companies, basically, because let's call it what it is. Title companies are insurance companies.
100%. And we measure the risk when we insure. And there are times I don't like the word no until I can hear it 3 times from 3 different people in the company.
And so by that measure, we also need to say that title companies are insurance companies. And when it comes to buying, because there's a lot of people that love and intrigued by purchasing properties in auctions, and you guys do not provide insurance for properties that are being sold in auction.
Yeah, I got a call from an investor, all excited. There was a condo complex that had some tax issue, and they bought a parcel. And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, did you buy one of the units that wasn't completed yet and they didn't pay the taxes? That means for 5 years they didn't pay taxes. The developer did not pay taxes. Do the investigation. They bought a section of the common area street that had a dedicated parcel number.
Wow.
And they came to me, and of course, can't insure it, but they're like, I want to leverage this and take a loan out against it to go buy. And I talked to 3 commercial lenders and we investigated. It's like the only buyer for this is the HOA.
Wow.
So you can go get the HOA to pay you back what you paid for it, because otherwise
Good luck.
And you're limited. You can't go and put a gate up there so that people can't get into the complex. So you should have done more research, not to look thinking it's a condo in a condo complex, because we did the research. None of the condos themselves that weren't completed were in tax default. It was just all the common area that had dedicated parcel numbers.
Well, on that note, audience, if you are needing to ask questions, Tom is with Fidelity National Title, and as I mentioned before, he's a wealth of information. You can reach him on his phone number or on his.
Thanks. That I realized that's my office number. Fine, you can reach me on that number.
Okay. Well, you can reach him on his office number or on his email address. And he also, I'm really, really impressed because he also has his own website. There you have it. You can also reach him on his website. And of course, if you are trying to reach Santiago or myself, we are always happy to talk to you as well. There is my phone number, and there is Santiago's phone number. We also love to get a follow on Instagram or on Facebook. And you can also reach us on our website at pemberleyrealty.com. And thank you, as always, for watching our episodes. And please, if you are watching this on YouTube, Santi, what do you want them to do?
Thumbs up, subscribe to see, more amazing guests like Tom today. Wealth of knowledge and amazing topics that we get to talk about. So yeah, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. And Tom, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and make it a great day.
Thank you all. My pleasure. Have a good day.
Bye.